Hello everyone, it is me, Whimsy, the Tarot Reader, here to give you the latest dirt or scoop on what is going on in DC, what's going on globally. So what we do here on the channel is that I do nightly meditations, or what some people call remote viewings, and then I tell people what I found out during my nightly meditations, and then we also do tarot readings as well. So one of the things I want to do today is review some of the previous remotes that I've done. Let's see what I got right and what I got wrong. Let's start with what I got wrong, because I think there's some things that we can learn from our mistakes. What I got wrong was the government shutdown. I wanted to believe, nah, come on, it won't go on for that long. I was wrong. It turned out to be the longest government shutdown in U.S. history. And, you know, what do you learn when you get it wrong? For me, I learned that wishful thinking or not wanting to believe that something's going to be that bad can sometimes bias me as a reader. And I know other readers have struggled with this, where you want to tell people what they want to hear, and it can cloud your judgment. So the goal of any reader, remote viewer or reader, is to really, with as much compassion as possible, be able to just deliver the message, whether it's what you want to hear or not. So that is kind of what I learned from getting it wrong with the government shutdown, is that being able to look at a situation and say, am I being biased, or am I simply telling the audience what I want to have be the truth? So really putting that on the back burner when you feel something. Is this what I want to believe, or is this a genuine impression that I'm picking up during a meditation? Now we get to have fun. Now we get to talk about everything I got right. But the thing I got wrong was the government shutdown. All right, so the first thing I got right was getting into Nancy Pelosi's energy. That was really pretty cool. A couple of weeks ago, I did meditation where I attempted to tune into Nancy Pelosi right after she had attempted to go visit Afghanistan and the troops and NATO. So when I got into Nancy Pelosi's energy, what I heard her say is, no, Mr. President, you're not going to take money from our defense budget and put it towards your wall. So I documented that 3-4 weeks ago, and in fact, last week, we found out that that is in fact what the president was trying to do with the emergency that he declared. He is going to be taking money from the defense budget and putting it towards his wall. So we got the heads up a couple weeks early, and this kind of allows us to get a window into the power of remote viewing, that you really can go into someone's energy and pick stuff up, and it's just another tool. And it's biased at times, so you always want to document, but that's one of the really exciting things about remote viewing, is you can get in and you can actually pick up those jewels. When you go through that rabbit hole and you hope to take back a gift or a jewel or something like that, that's really cool. All right, the second thing we got right was Mitch McConnell and the Veto Majority. As I had said in previous videos, when I got into Mitch McConnell's energy, I felt like a whipped dog, that instead of being treated like an equal and the head of the Senate, he was being treated, I felt like I was being treated when I was in his energy like I worked for the president. And I think Mitch McConnell began to resent that over time. He began to resent the fact that Donald Trump seemed to think that Mitch McConnell worked for him. So what was happening is that Mitch McConnell was meeting secretly with the Senate trying to build a veto-proof majority, and he got 83 votes. So those are 83 votes of 83 senators that will consistently override the president. So I think that Mitch McConnell was sending a very strong message to the president, which is, not only will I get to 70 votes, not only will I get a majority of the votes, but I'm going to do one better. So Mitch McConnell was able to not only get a veto majority, but he was able to get a substantial veto majority, 83 votes. And the takeaway here is that with cooperation in the Senate, which we also got right, remember when I said that the Senate was going to be moving towards cooperation? When you get that kind of bipartisan cooperation in the Senate, you've basically overridden the executive branch to some extent. You can't completely override the executive branch, but Mitch McConnell is flexing his muscles, and I believe he's letting the president know, this is how much power I have as the head of the Senate, and I have created a coalition of 83 senators that are willing to side with me, and so we will override the executive branch. That basically means that 83 senators voted for a budget that didn't have any funding for the wall, 1.3 for border security that he could put for a fence. But you have to realize that was something like 41 Republican senators sided with Mitch McConnell. They felt that they could afford to vote for that bill and still get reelected. So that was what Mitch McConnell had been up to the last couple weeks, is building a coalition of people that will override the president's vote. And in that way, they have basically disempowered the president. And from now on, they will simply be working in a bipartisan manner, overriding the executive branch. Now, that is a very clear message to the president by Mitch McConnell that Mitch McConnell is taking his power back. You have underestimated Mitch McConnell's power. And this legislative branch, the legislative branch, will go on with their lives doing whatever they have to do. You can either be part of it, Mr. President, or not. But we're going forward. And I think that that is the very clear message that Mitch McConnell is making. If they really supported wall funding, they would have put it in the budget. They wouldn't have said, yeah, you go call a crazy emergency, state of emergency. They never would have done that if they really believed in the wall. It's just not the way it's working out. So that is what Mitch McConnell was doing with the veto. He was the veto power. He was meeting with senators who look, the people that voted no, many of them are running for they're running for a president, or they're running for re-election, both Democrat and Republican. So depending upon where they were running, if they were on a swing state, or if they were in a swing state, there were a lot of things that had to be taken into consideration, those people that decided to be part of Mitch McConnell's veto majority. But now he has it, and he'll be able to use it in the future, those 83 senators, to pass more bipartisan bills and override the executive branch. So we got that right, and that's what's going on over there. Number 3 is Roger Stone, and the bizarre meditation we did on Roger Stone. In that meditation, Roger Stone said that they had intercepted secret communication between him and foreign actors, possibly Russia and WikiLeaks. We dropped that a couple of weeks ago, but then in the meditation, Roger Stone had said, I'm not ready to reveal who I was speaking to. So Roger Stone was trying to negotiate some kind of a plea deal. That was the impression I got from that meditation. The fact that the special counsel has dumped the information, the fact that the special counsel has said we intercepted phone communication or communication of some type between Stone and the Russians and WikiLeaks, that is a message to me, or to us who are watching this unfold. The takeaway there is that the special counsel does not want to negotiate with Roger Stone. That's how I interpret it. So even if Roger Stone wants to negotiate, I don't think that he's going to be able to succeed in negotiating, because if that had been a negotiating tool, not the fact that Stone had been communicating with WikiLeaks, I think that they would have kept it buried. The fact that they didn't bury it means that they're not interested in negotiating with Stone. That's how I interpret it. The last thing that I said, and this is going to start to come out in the next few weeks, is that the GOP is I'm hearing the word hamstringing, which is a really bizarre thing to hear. But basically, they're minimizing the powers of the executive branch because they question the mental health of the president. So that is what's going to start coming out in the next few weeks. They are really skeptical about whether or not there's dark money. For whatever reason, they don't want to see it. They don't want to see any evidence pointing to the fact that this president is working with Russia. They've got a blind spot there. It could be because they themselves are involved with taking dark money. Who knows? But the point is that they're not open to that. But what they are open to, the GOP, is considering the possibility that the president is mentally ill and that he's becoming progressively worse. And that is one of the reasons why they've been pulling power away from the executive branch. Nobody who looks at this situation objectively could interpret it any other way, that he was forced to call a state of emergency because Mitch McConnell and the Senate have literally turned their back on the president. I think that's fairly obvious. So I'm going to go ahead and throw cards, and let's see what the coming week is going to be like. I love throwing on a Sunday because it lets us know ahead of time how our week is going to go. So let's take a look. Gotta have Flopsy there, giving us good luck. What is our week gonna be like? Hopefully it'll be a good week. People want to know, how much longer will this president be in the White House? I cannot say, but I can tell you that the GOP is trying to control him, and that is something that I think a lot of people don't realize. All right, what do we have here? Smoother waters, investigations, smoother waters. We're going into a smoother period. I really think that we're going to see some cooperation. You know, this is nice. I like the fact that business as usual is starting to happen again in DC. Not all this infighting. People are learning to work together. Research, study, knowledge, smoother waters. Cutting the head off the beast. Remember when I said that Mitch McConnell was going to cut the head off the beast? He cut the head off the beast by getting a veto majority that will forever be able to override this president. The world opening up. Very nice. Look at this beautiful cups energy coming in. Offers. What they were sitting in before. Inability to look at a situation. Inability to move forward. Stagnant. Hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. But look at what's coming up in the future. That's movement. The past, contracts, right? They just signed it. They just signed a bill into office. You know, it feels to me when this president went to Mar-a-Lago after signing that bill, like the GOP has something over the head of this president. It's as if Mitch McConnell and the GOP have threatened this president. It feels as if he had no choice. He had to stop the shutdown because they had threatened him in some way. That's the best way to describe the energy. And that same threat was given to him that forced him to sign this bill. You go ahead and you sign that bill. If you don't sign that bill, there are going to be consequences. So he signs the bill because he has to sign the bill. But that's not the end of it. Holding on to coin, frugality, the thief flees. hopes and fears, the budget, balance, final outcome, a new beginning. This is something that I've been picking up a lot lately about this president, is that he literally, I think that I just get this impression that they're holding something over his head. And that if he doesn't cooperate, if he doesn't stop creating shutdowns, if he doesn't sign these bills, they've got something forcing him to do that. And then he has a temper tantrum, calls a state of emergency, and then flies to Florida. He is at war with Mitch McConnell, and I don't think that people are consciously aware of it. And Mitch McConnell has him over the barrel. Everything's going to be okay. This is cooperation, new beginnings, springtime, coming into power, hanging up the thief. I really think they're done with this president. Sunny days ahead, balancing the budget. I would say it's good. I would say that these cards are excellent, and they show movement, new beginnings, controlling Trump. I think that they're going to control him. I think that they already have started to control him, and I think that they've gone so far as to threaten him, whether it was with Article 25 or something else. And I'll take it a step further. I think Mitch McConnell has filed some kind of a formal complaint against this president, some kind of active investigation, and I think that it's been started by Mitch McConnell. There's a lot of stuff that the public doesn't know about. They think that Mitch McConnell supports this president. Mitch McConnell questions the mental health of this president, and I think that there's going to be an investigation. After the shutdown, that is when the GOP not only began to question the mental health of this president, but they began to take active measures to control him, not just with a veto majority in the Senate. There's more going on behind the scenes, and that's going to start coming out in the next couple weeks. All right, thanks for watching, everybody, this quick video from Tarot with Whimsy. It was a lot of fun to do it, and we'll just see how things go the next couple of weeks. I really enjoy doing the remotes in the tarot, and it must be a kick for people who watch this to see how things unfold as well. All right, thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time. Bye.